Working? Okay. Hi, I'm Greg Hammer with ARSCO Custom Metals, and we're going to show you how to install your enclosures. So first we're going to go through tool list, and then we'll go through the parts, and then we'll put up the enclosure without fasteners. I think you guys can figure that out for yourself, and everything should work out pretty well. So first things first, we recommend, what are these called?
They're made by Viking.
So I'm going to call them Viking lifts for lack of better terms. You can see them here. They will make your life very easy. You can do them without it, but these will allow your enclosure to be installed perfectly level, or at least as level as the adjacent work will allow. So definitely recommend these. You're going to want to get clamps with pads to protect your finish so that you can put the entire enclosure in, make sure everything's in the right place, and then start screwing it in. If you screw in one filler and one panel at a time, you're gonna end up redoing it and you're not gonna be happy. So again, C-clamps with pads. Today we're gonna use 3 levels. However, I recommend at least 6. Or a laser level would work out well for you too, as long as it's high enough. We're going to be putting these on the fillers to ensure that the fillers are level, plumb, and square to the enclosure. If you don't do that, you'll also be reinstalling your enclosure. Self-explanatory. We're going to need 3 different sets of fasteners. 2 are provided. 1 is on you. I believe you guys have metal up there underneath your windowsills. We like to use Supermans. So this is a 1224 Superman. If you need to use the adjustment in the angle, a head like this isn't going to be in your best interest. Something with countersink would work, or that is flat would work a heck of a lot better. So you need those. And then you need 1024 pan heads. We have provided these. These go in the removable front panel. That's the only part of the enclosure outside the bar grill that can be taken off without tools. And then lastly, there's a 1024 hex head that will go underneath the enclosure into the removable rear panel. They just get tightened to the rivet nut. And I think that's about it. So your enclosure adjusts from 14 7/8 plus a material thickness, so just call it 14 15/16-ish, all the way to 15 15/16. So you'll see here that you have a 1-inch ledge on top of where your enclosure can slide back into, so that you can keep the enclosures from protruding out past the columns. On average, I recall the average caulk joint being approximately 3/8. Every opening at Campbell's did fluctuate a little bit, so you're going to have to do that math on your own. Again, no screws until you're completely happy. So we're going to just get started here real quick with parts. So you're going to have your rear mounting angle. So the top is going to be a finished surface, don't scratch it. The bottom is going to be your mounting surface. Back here is where you're going to push your fillers into to make sure, again, that it's either recessed or flush with the front column, the front edge of the column in your opening. The next part is a louvered toe kick. Pretty simple. It's just got a flange here for mounting. This is the top flange. Essentially none of this is seen except for right at the bottom where the air will come in, and this is also the face that the fillers will mount to. So you see this edge of the toe kick where it's not louvered. This is, for all intents and purposes, centered on the filler, which you'll see here shortly. Let's see if you can see. So this is the rear filler. This part actually slides back into this angle like that. It will sit on the fillers, and it will get attached to the fillers via the 1024 hex head nut hex head screw into the rivet nut. The strength of the unit is your center fillers. Now this is a center filler. For demonstration purposes, we're not going to use a side filler. Side fillers are self-explanatory. So as you look at it, it looks like this. A And left side filler just won't have this flange. Right side filler, same deal. How you're going to mount this is with these two slots. So this slot is where your fastener is going to go to mount to this angle. This next slot is where the rear filler is going to fall somewhere. So you're going to be able to slide it back and forth to get it perfect. Again, this is the strength of the unit. This is a finished face, so don't scratch it. Is it keyhole, eye hole, keyhole? So these keyhole slots is where your removable front panel is going to sit. The key word is sit, so it's going to sit in place. So the 1024 hand heads I showed you earlier are going to go down into this hole and slide down into the slot and sit in place. Okay, this is the biggest piece. This is your removable front panel. So if you turn around, 1024 hand heads go into these rivet nuts. That's how it actually sits in place. So make sure that when you install it, that the pan heads aren't all the way in so that it can engage the filler. Okay, so now that you've seen all the tools and all the pieces, we're going to go ahead and install. We already have the rear angle up. We just use drywall screws. As you can see, we have a makeshift wall here. Again, those are the only fasteners that we didn't supply for this project were for the wall and for the floor. That's for adjacent work. Anything that goes with our sheet metal product, you will have received. So you're just going to want to put this up, the top edge, ideally level or below the bottom edge of the windowsill. It's pretty simple. It's going to run from your left lateral wall to your right lateral wall. And then you're going to caulk that edge on the right and left filler. So, toe kick. So we've already marked this for our minimum depth, which is approximately 14 and 15 sixteenths. So we're just going to go ahead and screw it in. You'll be able to do that in the field and make sure that you have both dimensions before you install the units. You can install the toe kick slightly cockeyed because you have some depth fluctuation. I recommend not doing that, but you can do it. So I believe you guys have concrete floors, so standard Tapcon will work. If the metal starts to bow too much, use shims. Don't tighten it down to the floor too much. You won't be happy with how it looks. So after we get the toe kick in, you're going to want to go ahead and put up your fillers. Now we have this pre-marked. Like I said, we're not doing a left filler and a right filler. This is where you're going to want to use a Superman screw or a sheet metal screw. We're not going to do it because we don't want to ruin your product, but any standard hex head sheet metal screw should work just fine. I wouldn't use anything other than a hex head. So as you can see, Rob used the Viking lift to get the filler approximately where he wants. Now he's going to put the levels on the filler. Again, level, square, and plumb. So he's going to have 3 levels on the flanges, keyword flanges, not on the top or front face of the unit because you don't want to scratch it. That's somebody else's job. So he's just going to make sure it's level and plumb and square. And again, I'd recommend all these lifts, and I do it for the process that we're doing, I don't do it for the entire opening before putting in any screws. I'll put that out on there. Okay, so now that everything's clamped in place, you're gonna put your top rear on. If you recall earlier, it just gets two 1024 hex head screws. So it's gonna just slide right in place. And you're gonna put that screw in. Now, we're not gonna use it on your parts, but I would recommend a 90-degree ratchet wrench. Works out really well. Just don't over tighten it. Okay, so the last step, well, the second last step, is the removable front panel. Again, make sure that your 1024 panhead screws are screwed out enough so that it can engage the 16 gauge metal. In. Okay, so that's it. Then you just set the bar grill in. The bar grill is deflected. If you see that there, so you can either deflect the air towards or away from the window. That's either you or the customer's choice. Thanks, Russ. There you go. Back. Now this is when you can, say you do this 4 times or 5 times, I can't remember how many sections are in your unit. Then after everything's level, square, and plumb, and looks nice, that's when you put the screws in. The screws, you probably can't see, yes you can. Down here by the C-clamps, there's 2 holes, so you're gonna put your screw through the filler into the toe kick. Again, like I said, after everything's level, square, and plumb. Did I miss anything? Okay, that's it. So good luck to you guys. If you need any help, give us a call.